Welcome. Switching gears very fast, as I told you earlier, if you're just joining us, well, on time for the second conversation. And we are talking on a matter that is also very important to you, having in mind that this month is Suicide Awareness Month, and we're very concerned about our mental health. So that is why we're looking into addiction and mental health. That's our topic, addiction and mental health. And the question we had asked you, or we want to ask you, even as you engage in our socials, is have you ever, what is it that pointed you to someone who's not well, either with addiction or mental health? How are you able to notice that they are not okay? Give us your story. Hashtag Y in the morning at Y254 channel. My personal handle, if you want to engage me there, is Stephanie Ayeta. For now, for this conversation, we have been joined by a great panel. And right next to me is Nimrod Aberi, who's the CEO of Calm Minds Initiative. And next to him is Esther Gitau, who's a HR and psychologist. Karibuni sana. Glad to have you with us for this particular conversation. Let me ask you, Nimrod, what is it that you're doing at Calm Minds Initiative? Tell us about it.
Okay, thank you very much. As you've heard, my name is Nimrod Aberi, and I'm the CEO of Calm Minds Initiative, CEO and founder. And additionally, I'd like to point out that I'm really interested in psychology, although I haven't taken a course, but I'm currently doing a mental health course. So what we do at Calm Minds Initiative is that we have measured on the youth and the children, and we are concerned about their mental health because they are among the age group that is mostly not checked on as far as mental health is concerned. And what we do, we try to reach them by understanding what is it that is is attached to their mental health as far as the environment is concerned, their social group is concerned. For example, let me give a good example of the children, because the children, you find that there is one person, because children are normally, we know they are not yet mature, but most of the times we find that they are also mentally stigmatized because they are neglected, or they are ignored by their fellows. So you find that maybe an alpha in the class, let me use a class as an example. An alpha, if an alpha doesn't like that one person, since the alpha has more influence towards the other children or the other students also develop some sort of hatred towards that person, and they start stigmatizing that person without understanding what is the actual reason. So you find that this kid feels neglected, not cared about, and also not heard and not felt. So with time it develops, and it can be quite stigmatizing. So those are among the things that we look at Calm Minds, by also talking to the guardians and the teachers who are custodians of these kids, to ensure that the measures they take are in line with ensuring that we have healthier minds even in the kids. And also in the youths, we try to understand their school environment, how they balance life, work, and even their social life. So yeah, that's what we do, and thank you very much for having me here today.
Great. I think that is very noble, looking out for the children who are forgotten, especially in the society. And we've had some cases which are very sad, of even children dying by suicide, very heartbreaking cases. So it's good to know that we have such initiatives that are looking into that area as well. So to you, Esther, HR and psychologist, are you practicing the two? Tell us about what you do.
All right, thank you. Yes, I am practicing the two. I work in a HR department, in a HR setup, and I also practice psychology over there, because you will find that we have employees in the workplace who are having mental health challenges. They're having struggles in the workplace. So we want to show them that there's a place to come to when you're not feeling okay. And who best than the HR department especially in a work setup where you don't have a psychology department. So you'll find that when we're having issues in the workplace, people know they have a place to reach out to. They have someone they can reach out to. You'll always find that in my teams, every day, Microsoft Teams, somebody is reaching out to say, hi Esther, can I book a session with you? Or somebody else is asking, can you refer me to where I can be able to get help? And I love that even in our work setups, we have integrated these programs. Maybe we are still working on having them done in a better way, but I love that organizations are actually doing something to make sure that employees are sorted. You will find that even in medical covers, the employers are partnering. They are partnering with the medical insurance to make sure that we can partner with psychologists, like we have a money counseling center. They partner with such organizations to be able to make sure that they offer employees better support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Just still on you, Esther. Do you think that we are now at a place where we're talking more about mental health? Because you've said the workplace is integrating this, which is a good thing. How far do you think we are as a country in embracing, not really embracing the issues, but moving away from the stigma and getting solutions for mental health?
Right, thank you. Actually, I'll say we are trying. We are just trying. We have not really done the best we can do, because I feel there is still much that can still be done. But I love that we are making these sessions and this conversation very lively in the workplace. Like, we are openly talking about them in the same way we address performance management in a work setup. We are also addressing mental health. Like now, this month being a Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, we are actually organizing for a walk with another organization to go out there and create more awareness about suicide. So this is a conversation that we're having even in the workplace. You find that people are okay to discuss these issues as they arise. If somebody is not feeling okay, they can even reach out to a colleague and say, hi Esther, I am not doing okay. My daughter did this, my marriage, something is not working out and I'm struggling to concentrate at work, which is a conversation I feel that earlier maybe people would not be as comfortable to have this conversation. But right now, I feel like we are creating organizations that feel safe for us. I feel like, okay, I can speak out and I will not be judged. Somebody will listen to me and show empathy. And I feel like the conversation is getting somewhere, but I still feel we can do better, because I've dealt with people who say, I told my manager that I'm taking maybe some drugs for depression, and now everybody knows. You see, I think that is still something that there is need to work around that, maybe by educating these managers or the supervisors who are dealing with people, so that they can have a better understanding on how do they approach these matters in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after I go to Nimrod, I'd want to come back with you, especially because you're HR in the work environment, because some people have said that this generation, Gen Z, misuse mental health. So any small thing they say, I feel I'm depressed, I need a break. So they're sort of taking advantage of the situation that is happening all over. So you'll give us your view on that. But coming to you, Nimrod, still on matters mental health and generational things. Now, how do you feel about the younger generation? You know, our view of life. Is it that why is it that mental health is affecting this generation more than even the previous generation, or why is it now more pronounced than how it was 10 years ago?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the major difference is on how liberal the society has become, because in the generations that 10 years ago that you're talking about, you find that most of them were not easily outspoken of how they felt, and most of the time you are told that even if you speak, you're not going to be helped out, and most of the stigma was well bred during those ages. And I think another reason why it is more pronounced nowadays is the fact that people have been more aware of actually me not being okay with somebody doing something is something that I should speak out. and continuous actions that are making me to feel either neglected or feeling stigmatized is something that can culminate into depression or anxiety. However, we need to draw a line where we need to have a threshold where we call this one a mental health issue, and this one as just a mere someone who is either trying to run away from responsibilities, because it is well understood that this generation, most of them are either running away from responsibilities or just merely trying to not work. But again, if we try to put them in such a corner, we might be also putting aside those people who are genuinely affected. So what I can say about this generation, it will be corresponding to each other. The more the information, the more the human resource that is available to ensure that we address the issues that is actually underlying, other than just merely speaking out. Because the person you are addressing that you are having a certain mental health is not well conversant with the topic itself, is not a psychologist or is not a specialist. So they may see that you are pretending or you are lying. That's why we need to also have more people. See, for example, having a HR who is also a psychologist is a very big plus, because they understand the work environment and they understand it from a mental health perspective, so that we are able to curb those people who are trying to run away from responsibilities, while at the same time not forgetting those people who actually need rest. And it is good to incorporate those that are generally acceptable and generally applicable in the workplaces. For example, when I was interning at Kituo cha Sheria, I noticed that they have embraced the topic of mental health, and they're actually telling the personnel to actually go on a mandatory leave. So in addressing this generational gap, one of the things that should be done is ensuring that the work environment is not toxic and the general applicable measures are applied. For example, there being rests and there being leaves which people should go to, and also having sessions where people can just go and meet and talk without having the pressure from the workplace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very profound what you've said. Back to you, Esther, on now the workplace situation where the employers, especially with millennials and even the boomers, feel like the current generation, Gen Z, they misuse what he has said, some misuse saying I'm depressed, and they even trivialize it for the people that are actually going through these struggles.
So I think the information that is out here is the information that is not accurate. You will agree with me that when we go to the social media, there's always every sort of information in the social media, in every social platform. Even right now, if I go to Google or ChatGPT or whichever and ask about a mental health condition or ask any information that has to do with mental health, there's always somebody who has put in an idea there. So I feel like we are lacking good information about exactly what is this mental health that we're having, because we don't want somebody who is just feeling sad saying now they are depressed. You're just sad.
Exactly.
You can
You're
be
just
happy,
stressed.
you're just a bit stressed, maybe because what you took maybe a loan or something that you can still pay, but now you want to tag yourself as a depressed person, but you're not depressed. Maybe somebody has not responded to your text message and all of a sudden you have claimed now you're depressed. You are not depressed, okay? So the fact that we can be sad and the fact that sometimes we will not always be happy does not guarantee that we have a mental health condition. But now people want to feel up all the time in high spirits, and when there's lack of that, everybody now starts labeling themselves, I have a mental disorder. You don't have a mental disorder. And also something else that is being abused nowadays, almost everybody is saying they are now healing from a trauma. I don't know what kind of trauma everyone is healing from. Yes, like everybody, oh, don't do this, I have trauma in this, I even hear now people are trauma bonding, because you're going through this childhood. Everybody is now accusing. So your mom maybe used to punish you back then you didn't take it as, you know, they're not trying to kill you.
Exactly.
And they're not doing anything wrong to you. But now that you're consuming this information that is everywhere, now you think
You've
your
decided,
parents,
oh, actually went through
yes,
trauma, but
you know,
you've just been fine.
there's no trauma. You realize that your parents used to feed you with a certain meal all through because they didn't have anything else. All of a sudden now you have trauma. What kind of trauma do you have, you know? I feel like we are just abusing these terms because most of the people do not clearly understand where to draw the line between, okay, I am depressed. What assures that I am depressed? I am feeling lonely. I'm feeling I'm withdrawing from things. You know, I'm feeling like I used to relate with people. Now I can't do that anymore. I am struggling to get to work. I am struggling to function. That is somebody who is showing the symptoms of depression. But you who woke up today because you drank so much last night and now you have hangover, you feel I'm depressed, I can't go to work. No, 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 no.
It's very different.
Yes, that is very different. So I feel it is there a lot of information that is wrong, that is out here. So we are also fighting this misinformation out there, trying to give people the right information and also trying to create a safer space where people can learn about what is really good content, you know, because you will agree with me, even in the media, you consume a lot of information, but you have to have that capacity to filter what are you taking in and what are you not taking in. And I think that is where we need to now draw the line.
Draw the line,
Yes.
absolutely. It's well put. But now, how does the workplace, you know, how are you able, because you do not, you know, for most workplaces that do not have a psychologist, counselor, or someone, a professional there, how are they able to balance it out, draw the line that they know this one is this is a case that truly needs leave, and this one is just bad behavior, you know, they're just into alcohol and they're taking advantage of the mental health situation. How would you advise that they go about it?
Well, for one, I believe that most HR practitioners, they are able to actually tell when you're taking somebody through like a disciplinary process, you're able to gather facts on what caused this issue. Because again, even when somebody, like I've had an issue where somebody has been brought, they were not coming in for work for a whole week, and then they said, I was stressed. So they were told, okay, you are stressed, go and see Esther. And then I was asked, can you advise us on the way forward? Because this person has come to work, they're saying they're stressed, a whole week missing. We are dealing with another case of absenteeism here, but we don't want to bring in to cover, we don't want the stress to cover the fact that this person is not doing the right thing. So we want to find out, what were you doing when you are away for 1 week? Why didn't you notify anybody? Because the fact that you are stressed does not really give you the mandate to be away from work without reporting, like without saying you will be away from work, without applying for leave and all that. So you'll find that the HR professions and people in the workplace, they go through that process to, of course, find the facts and gather correct information to be able to know, is this person telling the truth? If you're having a mental challenge or you're struggling with something, did you seek help? And where did you go and seek that help? Because you cannot tell me you're having a mental breakdown and you decided to just stay at home without seeking help. Even when you're sick, you go to the hospital. So when you're not mentally okay, you go and seek help. So did you seek help? Let's start there. You will tell me you didn't seek help. For a whole week, you're just juggling with your condition. No. Did you reach out to somebody else? Why didn't you notify us in the workplace? Because we need to draw that line again. People cannot be accusing. If you fail to report to work, today, if you didn't report to work for this show and you didn't tell anybody, how are they supposed to continue running the show? You have to also play your part of being a responsible employee. So that is what we want. Employers want to support employees, but you see, it's very difficult to support somebody who does not want to be supported, and somebody who is making it difficult to actually offer the support, because you cannot push somebody to receiving support that they don't want. So that's why you'll find we are saying, when you're having an issue even in the workplace, talk to a colleague, okay? Talk to your manager. Let them know that something is happening, so that if you don't show up to work, you'll say, hi, the issue is back, or something has happened. At least somebody knows, you see? because there is no way a manager is going to help you out if they don't know what you're even struggling with. So the very first thing I'll say with the employees, yes, I know we are told kazi ni kazi, chapa kazi uende nyumbani, employees or colleagues are not your friends. No, we need to stop overdoing that. We need to actually speak up if we really need the help.
Okay.
And not make it difficult for our employers, because when we make it difficult and it becomes a cycle, now we are pushing our employers to push us out of the workplace, which is not right. So it is a collective responsibility for both the employee and the employer to make sure that this conversation is going on well and we are having support.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great. Accountability is key even when you're experiencing mental health
Yes.
challenges. What to you, Nimrod, how important do you believe that this is when you're talking about accountability for young people, so that we break from the notion that Gen Zs are lazy popcorn generation, they want things easy, you know, because that is what is out there. But how can we use, because that is the negative side of that people know of Gen Z of, but again, the positive side, that there are people that go out, you know, they are very innovative, they speak their mind and all that. But how do we make sure that we have accountability, or what is the importance of accountability when talking about mental health?
Okay, the importance of accountability is it ensures that everybody plays their part, and in playing your part, you do not interfere with the set regulations and rules, I believe. So the first thing is to have a structure that ensures there is that minimum that you cannot go beyond. Then we actually should support their outspokenness, ensure that we support them in ensuring that in whatever you speak out, because one thing that is clearly missing out when somebody misses from working and doesn't speak is communication. Ensuring that if you are good at speaking, don't speak only when complaining, but not being accountable for the actions that you are taking. Additionally, we can, by having people who are accountable, we ensure that the older generation and the younger generation get to have a place where they can, there's that general place where we have a community of minds, a community of thoughts where we are thinking along the same lines. So in that way, we can be able to know where to measure on and where the differences come in, how do we address them. So what I can say is, by ensuring that the basic rules that should be followed are followed, and not necessarily rules, but also the regulations and measures that ensure that our workplace are well and accommodate each person's thoughts and also presence, but at the same time ensuring that people are actually doing the work that they're supposed to do. Communicating is really key, and that's something that should be employed throughout the organization and institutions.
Okay.
And also, one last thing, I think this also comes from the culture. So now that's why we also are measuring on the kids, because we know these are the kids who will be bringing either the blessings or the curse, or the good deeds or the bad attitude and bad culture and habits in the future. So how are they brought up is also something that we should also see, that accountability starts from how you raise up your kids, because that they say even in the Bible, train up your child in the way it should go, and when he grows up, he shall not forget or shall not deviate and fail to come back. So how we raise up our kids should be something that we highly highlight, ensuring that accountability starts from where did you go, at what time are you coming back, have you finished the teacher's assignments, how did you treat your neighbor's friend, because you find that some kids have some weird attitude and habits that we tolerate, saying that they're just kids. But if we actually bring them up well and show them that this is wrong, and you being a kid should not mean that you just do things that are weird and things that are negative towards others, that is a way of having them having good and positive attitude towards others, towards themselves, and ensuring that they protect their peace of mind, while at the same time being accountable to do the things that they're supposed to do without them seeing it as a burden by us also communicating of the importance of the things they are doing, such as sleeping early, limiting the time you are spending on the screen, and actually doing more exercises and drinking more water. Those are some of the things that if we bring up in our kids, they will raise accountable leaders, accountable adults in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to ask you that, or to say that, even in the raising of these kids, the current generation is having kids, right?
Yeah.
So they should also be very keen on how they raise their kids, so that they do not have the same problems that we're experiencing, you know. And I don't know, maybe I'll ask you as a psychologist, is it a problem? Because some people say that it is a problem from how the Gen Z were raised by the boomers, and it has inflicted, you know, whatever is happening. Is that true? And will the same be true if the Gen Z raise their kids? Because now they're very liberal, and they want, you know, they're not hard on their kids, and they want to be friends with their kids, which I believe is a good thing, but I don't know to what extent. They want to do things very differently from how they were raised. Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What are your views?
All right. I would not say it's a good thing or a bad thing. Actually, what I would want to say is raising a child is a collective responsibility. You see, this person is going to church, this child is going to school. They're not only staying with the parents. So I think it's very important that whatever we want, however we want our children to be, should be integrated even into the school curriculums. If it's mental health or whatever else we need our kids to learn, should start even from their schools. And about the parents are doing, you know, a parent always does what they feel is right for their child. You cannot tell a parent this is the right or the wrong way to raise a child. But what I would say is, as from a very young age, start accepting this child the way they are. If they are emotional, you can't beat a child or punish them and tell them, let me not see you crying. But what do you expect them to be? Let them cry. If a child is sad because you said no to something, let them sit with that sadness and learn that this is how life is. You know, you don't offer two contradicting measures at the same time to a child. You cannot be telling a child, I will beat you, I'll beat you, and you're not beating them. So they know every time you say this, there's no action that you put, there's no action followed by your words. So we need to teach these children that there are consequences for every small action that they do. Like I have my niece, I don't know who has taught my niece how to steal some sugar. And she's currently staying with my mom. So my mom has said, now this small girl who has taught her how to steal sugar, and taking sugar is wrong. So I don't want her to do this. What am I going to do to her? I'll pinch a bit. Every time she takes the sugar, I pinch a bit so that she knows there is a consequence to what you're doing. I think that is the manner which we need to raise our children. Well, I'm not a parent myself, but I would say, in my opinion, this is how we need to raise our kids. We need to show them that there is a consequence for something wrong they are doing. And for every good thing, let's reward that good thing. Nobody who does not like to be rewarded. And that goes for the children. And also, this is a small child. They will again grow. There are conversations that need to go revolving as you deal with these children. You know, you cannot have the same conversation with a 5-year-old that you're having with a 10-year-old. You need to have this conversation. I believe as somebody is approaching their teens, you should now start having real life conversations, you know. This can happen, that can happen. You need to start exposing them to the real life situations and not just being the protective parent. No, I don't want my child exposed to that. I don't want my child exposed to that. You know, I cannot tell her this. She will feel mommy does not like her, daddy does not like her. No. If you teach your child like that, how are they supposed to behave in a workplace when they are told no? You have taught them everything should be a yes. And when they throw tantrums, you are like now doing what they have said they need done. No, you need to teach them having a stable no. When you say a no, this behavior is not entertained in this house, it's a no. When you say we cannot watch, we cannot have our phones beyond this time, so that we can also create the boundaries of overusing social media for our children. You cannot say, now you'll put your kid here and screen all the time. No, 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 no. We need to start working. So how parents are raising their children is very important, but again, it is a collective responsibility, even for the teachers, everybody in the religion, everybody in the society. It is a collective responsibility
to make sure that even the Gen Alpha are raised right. And back to you, Nimrod. You mentioned something about, you know, the nowadays. I don't know why I'm revolving around the kids today, but they're usually on social media. You know, they have the tablets, they have the gadgets, they have, you know, they're a bit distant. Their social connectivity is not as ours when we were growing up, and we did not have these luxurious things. So how can we, in a few words, you know, how can we go about it from your own experience dealing with children?
Okay. What I can say, because we need to understand the stages of a kid, the children growth, because there are stages where they are more connected to the parents, and with time they start being more inclined towards their peers. And now we need to acknowledge that and ensure that whatever we are teaching them is in line and acknowledges that they are actually undergoing a systemic and mental growth and change. So how we face these matters of social media, we understand that for a young mind, it needs growth, and exposing them too early, it can be really dangerous, especially if it actually curtails and prevents them from socializing. I believe if there is a need for you to buy a gadget, ensure that you have also another, is it a mechanism that ensures that they are either forcefully or not forcefully, they get to interact with the peers, so that it becomes directly proportional. So that we do not just buy them gadgets without putting measures, or even if we are putting measures, they are still in the house. So the only way they can be with themselves is by being with themselves and just timing when will 10 p.m. or when will 5 p.m. Reach, so that I can get back my gadget. Yeah, so
making sure that they're involved socially.
Yes, so they are involved actively. If it is in sports activities in the school, be their champions. Ensure that they take part in them, so that you also tell them, ensure that you educate them of the importance, the dangers of the phone. That's why it is very not advisable to give them gadgets at a very young age. And if you are, ensure that you put their measures that are there, for example, parent control and etc. And also you ensure that you really limit, so that if it is on educational purposes, let it remain that way, and that you show them the importance of being out there, or ensuring that you cultivate their talents. I think the best way of distracting a kid is by giving them something that they will like to play on, because we don't want to give them gadgets, but again the society and the educational system is moving towards the gadget and the digital system. Then we are left without a way out. So by involving them in having to develop a talent is a way of also trying to make them break from the boredom, because even if it is reading, a kid cannot read throughout the day, and because we may say let them read, they don't have gadgets, but again they are bored when you're not around. So give them something they can, maybe chess, guitar, just try to see what are they inclined more into. Are they speakers, are they quiet but doers, so that you see you can develop them from another angle and another perspective, and ensure that they do not entirely indulge in activities that are not well for their mental well-being and their social well-being too.
Yeah. Absolutely profound. Where can people get you on your social media platforms?
Okay. My LinkedIn, I'm majorly on LinkedIn.
Whichever you wish to share.
Yeah, and Nimrod Aberi. My Instagram at nimrod.aberi. My Facebook at Nimrod Nyaberi. And my TikTok at Nimrod Aberi.
Okay, yeah. Nimrod Aberi on most social media platforms. Thank you very much for your time. Let me also give you the opportunity, Esther, to close by telling just in 1 second or 2 or 3 maybe, how can someone maintain their mental well-being as a way of closing, as you share with us your social media platform.
All right. I will just say, like, when you feel physically or when you feel fatigued, what do? You rest, right? When you feel like something is not working out well in your body physically, you always find a way to recharge. Even the same goes mentally. It is very good for you to find a way that works for you in a manner that recharges you and makes you feel better. If you need to take that break, take that break. If you need to go for that walk, go for that walk. Go and interact with nature and get yourself out there, you know. Don't get stuck to the environment that is making you feel drained. That is what I would say. And to also conclude by saying that when you're struggling, please speak up. You know, there is help out here, but nobody will know that you need help if you don't speak up. And also urging people, let's be a safe space for other people. Because if I am not a safe space for somebody, how do I expect the other person to also be a safe space for me? If we say, let's not judge others, it is a collective measure. Let's all not be judging other people. So for me, I'm also on LinkedIn. I don't know, I think I love being on LinkedIn. Esther Gitau.
Okay.
And also now starting a bit of TikTok here and there as Esther Gitau on TikTok. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you, Nimrod, for your time and for the great insights you've both shared. We appreciate it. So that has been it. So we've had Nimrod Aberi, who's the CEO of Calm Minds Initiative that looks especially in the mental health, mental wellness of children and young people. And then we have Esther Gitau, who's a HR and psychologist, and they've given us gems. I hope you've taken some from this. Make sure that you are mindful of yourself, but also make sure that you are a safe space to others, and that you take care of children, whether you have children or not, whether they're your nieces or nephews. Now you know what to do. So isn't it up? This is where we put a close on it, but tomorrow is another day. We'll be together. On behalf of the team, we wish you a lovely day ahead and enjoy the rest of your viewing.